Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter, and I have a very exciting video of stuff to go through today, but I'm going to keep it nice and concise and not too long because I know everyone's attention span is all over the place as we're looking forward to Monster Hunter Rise. But I had the opportunity again to ask 10 more questions to the development team behind Monster Hunter Rise, and I got my answers back. So some of these questions we know already because I asked these questions quite a bit ago. But some of them are kind of new and some really exciting stuff in here. So ignore the B-roll that's going on in the background, but let's go through my questions and answers from the development team for Rise. Question 1. When playing in the Gathering Hall alone, will quests scale to 1 player or default to 2 player scaling? This was asked before we knew, but they confirmed again that the difficulty will be set to solo. I think this is great because obviously some people do not have the ability to be online or get Nintendo Switch Online. So the fact that they're able to do Gathering Hub quests as solo, I think is a great option. Question 2. What was the first monster the team made during the development of Monster Hunter Rise? Any funny/fond memories of it to share? Capcom's answer was, it's the flagship monster Magna Malo, which I was super surprised at. The tiger motif, armored warrior, the tail looking like a spear, was something we decided early, but then we iterated the design a few times, and we finally settled on the current design. At one point, it was starting to look like a Shachihoko. Now, a Shachihoko, this is really interesting. I'm going to show a picture of this, but if you know, it almost looks like the head of a tiger with the body of a carp, like the fish. It's a very common design. I think it's hilarious that there was a design that looked like this. Hopefully they'll do an art book or something and they should share some of the concept designs because I gotta see that. That's cool. Question 3. Will a player be able to rejoin a hunt if they accidentally got disconnected during it? The answer, yes you can. The person who got disconnected will become offline state first, can reset the quest, and after coming back online, you can get back in the lobby with the lobby ID or friend list and rejoin from the quest board. Now for those of you who don't know, in Monster Hunter World and Iceborne you could get back into the same lobby, but there was some kind of restrictions if you accidentally DC'd and you couldn't get back in the quest. For example, if you had 4 people and you DC'd, it would have like this empty space that just says, blah blah has left the quest. And it would say that the quest is full and you cannot rejoin it. So while I don't know the exact details, it does sound like they've now fixed it so that you can rejoin your quest if you accidentally DC. And to me, that is a huge win. Question 4. When the Diva songs were made, we know that they were translated into French and then phonetically back into Japanese to create a unique and consistent sound. Is there a similar process when creating the Monster Hunter language for Rise? Their answer, wow, you know really well. This game has been translated from Japanese to an actual language and then adjusted through further processes. So now I'm very curious, which language they translate their lyrics from Japanese to? Now they did mention that there is a Japanese language version of the sort of like that main song that Hinoa sings. So I think if they ever release that, then we can start looking at the Japanese and then the Y variant, and then maybe we can try to map it and try to get a feeling for what language maybe they translated it to. Like maybe they translated it to something like Latin, and then they phonetically brought it back into Japanese, and maybe they changed like all the A's to A's or something like that to make it sound unique. Like there's a process, so it's not like a one for one. But I would be fascinated to find out what this process is. So I'm very curious. Let me know in the comments below if you have any guesses. For example, like in the song, they say something that I'm assuming means the village of Kamura. And she says, Kamura Sitia. Sitia almost sounded like a city. So I don't know if that's a hint. I don't know. But this was pretty cool to hear that they do have a process in place for creating this language. And now I really want to know. Question number 5. Somnicanth is mistaken for a mermaid at night. Does this mean that we can assume the one that we hunt in the game is female? Their answer is we don't differentiate between males and females in terms of appearance for Somnicanth. You'll actually have to hunt it and observe it closely. This I find really interesting because a lot of the monsters there are visual differences between the male and females. So the fact that they're saying there is no difference and it's something fun to look forward to in the game, now I'm really looking forward to hunting this monster and seeing if we can discern which one it is. Question 6. Can you elaborate on why Kezu was never given a theme song and if you plan to keep it like that in Monster Hunter Rise? Their answer? The same setting from the previous games in the series. Because Kezu is blind, the hunter will never be found, like it'll never spot you. Therefore, there's no change in the background music. And yes, no music for Kezu in this game. So if you guys didn't realize, the background music for a monster only kicks in when you've been noticed by the monster when it sees you. So if you place smoke bombs or something and it doesn't actually see you, the music doesn't kick in. And because Kezu's blind, they just said, okay, well, the music never kicks in. And of course it works really well because of the freaky, kind of scary nature of the monster. So a lot of people are huge fans of the fact that Kezu does not have a background theme music, and I'm very happy to see that it's like that in Rise. Question number 7. If it's not explained deeply in the game, can you explain for Western players a bit on why Kagero has a piece of cloth over his face and if there's any cultural inspirations behind it? Their answer, there's actually a backstory for why Kagero doesn't show his face, but we wanted to create a mysterious character. So in the Japanese answer, because it did give me the Japanese and English, it says that there is a backstory why he doesn't show his face, but the word they use here makes it sound like they may not actually disclose it in the game. It seems like more of a backdoor canon, like they have a reason. Maybe they'll hint to it in the game. But it sounds like they just wanted to have a mysterious character, almost like a shaman type character, which is why they made him mysterious. Question number 8. Was there anything surprising you saw from players with the demo that you were not expecting? Their answer, we're surprised that there are more players clearing the Magnamalu quest than we thought there would be. We've made quests with similar difficulty for Tokyo Game Show and other physical events before, but we think that there's more players clearing this quest. And that I find interesting. They actually thought that there wouldn't be that many, because if you guys don't know, when they do like Tokyo Game Show, it's the same thing, like 15-minute timer, they tune it to be really difficult, and after 2 days, you'll have like maybe 1 team or 2 teams that cleared the monster. I think the one thing they're failing to consider here is that now that we're playing the demos at home, we can try many times. So I do not think that most people are clearing the Magnamalu quest on their first try. In fact, I bet you it's like 1%, if that. It would be very interesting to find out. But I think people are really practicing and putting in the time. Which of course means that it's a good designed monster. If it's tuned really hard, but if you practice, you can get it, that's a sign that it's really well designed. Question number 9, will decorations be craftable using monster materials again like in older games? Answer, yes, decorations can be crafted with monster materials at the smithy. Now, as you guys know, this is a huge thing I've been wanting for a long time. I asked this question before it was actually answered, so we already know this now. But I'm very happy to find out that we can craft them. I'm not going to go into a long spiel about this. I've talked about it a lot in this channel. But yeah, very happy to hear this. Then finally, are there any features, perhaps in the training room, to explain to players how elemental damage works? Maybe even displaying elemental damage on the screen. Their answer, I get it. It's a little disappointing for me though, is the attack power and the sharpness, the damage that includes the elements will show, but there's no option to check the elemental damage itself with numbers. So it's a little, it's how it was at Iceborne and it worked. I would have loved the option in the training room to see the elemental damage just so people understand how significant or insignificant the elemental on a specific weapon might be. So I'm definitely going to put some time and effort when I get the game to really show it off and make a video so that I can help explain it to other players, because I think it's worth knowing, but they will not have the option in the game. Anyways, those was my Q&A with the developer for Monster Hunter Rise. This was done through text, not an interview or anything. So I'm super thankful to Capcom for the opportunity to ask these questions and to get answers. Other things that just really excite me was just the idea that you can get back into a quest if you get disconnected, because unfortunately that does happen. So it'll be very interesting, but I know that the game is using Nintendo's new servers, so hopefully disconnection issues won't be like what we had on the Nintendo 3DS. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought, and until next time, happy hunting.